also in the mentor-mentee relationship, sometimes it happens that, the mentee outgrows the mentor. Okay, so when is it, that time, or when that realization comes, then what next? So suppose someone was to outgrow their mentor, how does that conversation happen, and where do you go from there?
That's always a tricky one. I think the sign of a good mentor is somebody who's always very humble. When I was practicing, coming back from Europe, after my millions and everything, coming back, I had one question. How do you measure spiritual growth? As a mentor, as a mentee, or just a normal person? Let's say you're chanting a mantra, you're doing a meditation. How do you measure your spiritual growth?
Right.
How do you measure your spiritual growth?
So true.
Money you can measure. I measured money very easily, zeros and numbers and so on. Gadi, etc. Yeah, I mean, you can measure everything else.
Yeah.
How do you measure spiritual growth? So then I did some research into this. I looked into some of the texts, and I found this great teaching by Gyawa Gotsangpa. He was a great master in our Drukpa lineage. His meditation caves are all over Ladakh, especially in Himalayas, especially in Ladakh.
Right.
If you go to Himis Monastery, when you come to Ladakh, when you go to Himis Monastery, behind that you have the Gotsangpa caves. Amazing place. The energy itself is amazing, Gaurav. You just have to go there just to feel it. So, उन्होंने ये कहा था कि the more you climb higher in terms of spiritual growth, the more humble you become. Because the ultimate goal is to defeat your ego, not to grow it. So the more you grow on the spiritual path, the more humble you become. So if you look at some of the gurus these days, whether they teach on Instagram and YouTube or not, you will see this trait. They're very simple, they're very humble. Yeah, they may be driving Rolls Royces, but coming out of it, they just behave like a normal person. Or you would have somebody who's driving a Swift, but he behaves like he is like, the Maharaja. So that's one thing. In terms of mentorship or mentee, I always say that a teacher has to be very humble. And when it comes time for the student to overgrow the teacher, there should not be such discussions about who's outgrowing whom. है ना, you should उसमें ego आ जाता है. और now your shadow is spreading more. You have more followers than me. You are overgrowing me. The teacher should not even have these kind of thoughts.
So true.
Neither the student.
So true.
As soon as you have that, then there's conflict.